What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Raph Esparza, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a good day. I know this is a little earlier than most of you are accustomed to seeing us. Now, some of you, I'm told, live in a place where early things happen. On Best Coast time, this is an unnecessary broadcast time, but I see a lot of you watch other sports shows at this time, and it makes me think, well, you can pony up and watch this. Nonetheless, it's not late in the day. It's in that nice middle pocket over by our good friend Timothy J. Freeman. Tim, how is everything going on your side of the world?
You know, Nashville's doing great. We're out here in the central time zone, a couple of hours ahead of the Best Coast. I get it. I actually do like West Coast time, especially when you're watching the fights. I watch the fights out here. I got to go to bed at 1 a.m. I loved California, 7 to 10. Still early enough to go out and party if you were feeling obnoxious and like you needed to get into a fight after the UFC. Outside of that, man, things are going good. It's getting nice and sticky out here in the humidity, and it's getting nice and heated with the PGF. We just wrapped up the draft, and we have the season right ahead of us on July 23rd. Can't wait, Raph. Excited to be here once again, my friend.
So, Tim, a question here for you. Have you been noticing anything different from the children after the draft? Because I've only seen bits and pieces. I've tried to just let them live their lives. I don't necessarily stalk them a ton on their Facebook or their Instagram. Occasionally, I'll see a story pop up, but it's not programmed in my brain to follow them like they're characters yet. So have you seen anything pop out since the draft for those guys?
Not too much. I've seen a little on Jet Thompson. I think he just signed an endorsement deal. I did see that. I think it's with Gadaima or Gadaimi. I don't know how you say the damn name, but looks like he signed a deal with that. I think a lot of these guys are kind of in getting ready mode right now, and there's been so much heat on UFC BJJ. Not a ton of drama yet with this new season coming up, but you know, give it a week or two, I'm sure it'll be right back up there.
I mean, we're gonna see some more stuff unfold for these gentlemen in just like 2 to 3 weeks. So I think right now they're probably enjoying the last of their freedoms. And it's weird because I see some of them who have messaged me and been like, well, when I live in Vegas, and all I keep thinking is, you're going to actually live in Vegas? Like, now the reality is coming very close to life.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we do have a board to get to. And Tim, no time better than the present to start walking people through what is happening in the world of jiu-jitsu, specifically within the world of the PGF. First, let's start off with this. Yes, we do know who the teams are. And I think it's important that we kind of go over who, what, where, when, and why. So what I'm going to do here, Tim, is I'm actually going to take us to another board, and that board is going to allow us to look at some of these teams. So can you walk us through some of the emerging team members that we are seeing here?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me pull this up a little bigger because I'm blind. Let's see. I have a list here. I'm going to go off the list. Looks like we got, is that Team Drysdale on the left there? So I see how this is. I see how it's lined up. It's a row. Okay. So it looks like we got Team Hanato Canuto up on the top, right? Top row. And Canuto has a pretty interesting team here. We'll kind of run through the players. We got Matt Mash, Jordan Worth, Chris Olivo, Rafael Ferreira, and Brady Hilton. And, you know, I think it's a good team. Pretty strong composition. Like, it's not too heavy one way or the other. There's some young guys, there's some vets, there's some finishers, there's some guys that can force an opponent to throw up a zero. So I think that's a pretty decent team. And he did, if you look at Hanuto, like what he paid outside of Ferreira, which I think he went like 6,400 on, the rest of the guys, he really didn't pay that much money. He got them all for, you know, $1,500, $2,000, somewhere around there.
So I'm going to see. Oh, good. I'm glad that this is the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Natalie
I
Bauer
see
says, "Good
that.
morning. Checking in to see what y'all are going to say about my boy JJ." Mostly
Uh,
positive, but can I say this, Natalie? Your son is obsessed with challenging me to a hot dog eating contest. Now, I don't know where this comes from. I know that he is very competitive. I have spies at JJ Pages, so I know things happen all the time. I know he is a very, very good jiu-jitsu grappler, but very competitive. So I think even me saying, "What are you doing? That looks like a lot of food," and me telling him, "Listen, as an actual fat person, you can't tell me what too much food looks like or something to that effect." And he was like, "We're gonna have an eating competition and we're gonna go day of weigh-ins." And I was like, "Dude, you're not gonna weigh in and then yak the next day at competition. Like, I can't come back on the show and be like, well, JJ Bowers now has negative points because of an eating competition with the host and executive producer of the Bullpen." So
see, I disagree with you, Raf. I think you take him up on it. Listen, this kid is alpha. JJ Bowers is alpha. Everything he's doing is alpha. So he sees you eating hot dogs and he's like, I'm going to alpha you. I could eat more of those weenies than you. You take him up on it. Yes, let's go day of weigh-ins. And then you veteran alpha him back. And then when he has a bellyache the next day and he's got to hit up Mama Natalie for some help. Good morning. Thank you for becoming a member. We do appreciate it.
We do.
You can just sit there, arms crossed, and go, you got schooled by Papa Raff.
So here's the thing, though. What I want him to understand as a youth, because it hasn't seeped in yet, is you don't challenge somebody to eat something like hot dogs. I was like, young man, it's Korean barbecue, it's sushi. So that way when you eat lots of stuff, it's worth it. A lot of hot dogs is probably going to kill your boy, Rafa Esparza. I think that's a bad choice. And it makes me think this man has become influenced by hot dog eating competitions around the world. And I say to you, amateur move. So that's all. But Natalie, we do have some jokes here today, and I do hope you're understanding of them. He has told me, and you'll see the interview, I think they're starting to pop up on my channel. He has told me that he will not get riled by any of the roasts. He's like, you can't affect me. And I said, you haven't seen him yet. So he's put the challenge out to me, and I'm much better at this than even eating. And if you've seen what I can eat, it's a testament to fattiness. What I can say, though, is, Tim, I've gone back and forth on these teams multiple times. I think when I say I think they evened out pretty well, I think every team has a big three. And I don't want to say who they are because I want the team members to wonder who those big three are. And as we get closer, maybe I'll mention one or two of those people who are part of the big three for every team. But I will tell you, the mix of vets and newcomers on each team was very equally distributed. So to me, I see like there are going to be some people who are going to have to be those anchors to the teams and those people who make sure you don't get beat up too much. So there is that. And I will say this. Look at this. It says, LOL, I never see him eating hot dogs, so not sure what that's about. I mean, you and me both. I thought you were going to say he's obsessed with Pokemon. I mean, that's clear. And I've heard word that something may be coming up next dealing with Pokemon that would be part of the way he spent his money. And it's not in the traditional way you think it is. So you might know about it, Natalie. That might be a heads up. I don't know. I don't even know. I'm hearing lots of rumors on the streets. So that is what I have to say about that. But Tim, any last thoughts on the teams before we move to the next topic? Because the next few things we have to do, they're going to take some time.
Yeah, I would just say this. I would say when you're looking at these teams, they are pretty well balanced. But if you look at them in the perspective of which teams really have the potential to have a strong top three, we're probably looking at Drysdale and Canuto. They both, especially Drysdale's team, there's there's a decent chance that 3 of those guys are able to jump out. Canuto's kind of in the same boat. Not that the other teams can't. For sure they can, but I think if you had to rank it up. You had to say, what do you think are the stronger teams? And I'm going Drysdale Canuto. We'll see. It's hard to predict. These things are hard to predict, and the season being stretched out definitely is going to have some play.
Agreed. And again, there's a very interesting dynamic because if you are looking at how all of these teams shake out, I am intrigued to see who the silent gatekeepers are going to be. Because, like, if those people can stop you from getting points, it could be a very powerful tool, I think, coming into this. So we'll come back and we'll assess that a little bit later. But as we revisit the board here, we're almost just dropping in to see what the next board topic is. And then very quickly walking away from it. But this, my friends, this is big, Tim. We're now going to go through everybody's fashion sense. Now,
okay,
I hear you guys. I hear you saying, wow, Raph, are you guys going to critique the fashion? And to which I say, absolutely we are. Because whether you think you were making a statement or not, you were. And Tim and I had these thoughts, and we didn't want to be rude to the children, but we did confer, and we did get some input from Kevin, who unfortunately came down with some kind of sickness today. I'm not sure what it is. The doctor didn't send me the note, but I'm told on good assurances he okay. But what I can tell you is every one of us put in a little bit of knowledge, years of looking at other people being here to give you this breakdown, this analysis. So, Tim, what's going to happen now is I'm going to bring on, now that we've seen the teams, one by one, fashion. And I would love for you to give me your first initial thoughts for each person that gets brought onto the screen. We'll start off with the most obvious, the commish himself, Brandon McCatherine. What is he saying with his fashion right here?
He's saying a lot. He's not saying less is more. I love BMAC, but we might be going more is less here. And hear me out. He's got the finance bro zip up fleece thing or whatever that material is, the zip up. That is finance bro 101. You can't be a finance bro unless you own one of those. I'm actually kind of surprised he has one, but it's a little bit telling about the evolution of BMAC. He's got the plaid jacket. It's undercover plaid. It's supposed to look cool in Italian, but it's undercover plaid, finance bro. And then he brings it to the streets with the hat flipped around backwards in the shades. Overall, I like the look. I think he needs a little more facial hair to kind of rough it up a little bit and make it seem like, yo, I'm not a finance bro. I'm not selling out. I'm still Southern Brandon.
Here's my thought process on this. Brandon McCatherine here looks like an undercover FBI agent who's doing his best to not blow his cover. Like, the fact that this man has multiple layers in Vegas, in the humidity, and then the subtleness of the glasses, not quite aviators, but looks pretty close, and the backwards hat. I'm not going to say he's going to be somebody who's going to abduct anybody off the streets, but if you are being profiled, maybe run the other way. It's just a safety assurance I'd like to go ahead and put out there. So that is, of course, Brandon McCatherine, our fearless leader, and his fashion statement. But I want to bring this one up. We'll start with the top of the draft itself, the person who went for the most money. Tim, what say you about the fashion statement of Jet Thompson?
The suit is shiny. It's satiny, and I kind of like that. I think it's definitely says something. I like the sunglasses on the shirt, right? It says like, I'm cool. I own sunglasses. Kind of a statement to the ladies. I own sunglasses, but I don't wear them indoors because I'm 19 years old now. And when I was 17, I did, but I'm refined and mature. I like the soul patch on the chin. That's nice. And the mullet mop top thing is interesting. I like that it's not even, right? Because then he would just look like a kid cut, like he went to Supercuts and they said give him a little boy haircut. But yeah, Jet looks like he is trying to potentially branch out and make his mark, either as a drug dealer or a insurance salesman, like first job. You know what I mean? He went and dressed up, wasn't sure exactly what to get. I like it though. I ain't talking shit about Jet.
You don't have to. I'll start. I mean, it's shiny. Look at this. This dude was shining, and it was a full-on, like, the jacket and the pants were both the same type. I wasn't sure he had that in him. So the fact that he came out, it told me something. It told me, like, dude, he expects to be the number one draft pick. So he believed it. He showed up like one of the people you would see on TV. And the shininess was important. It was noted. So I have to say there were some high marks for Jet Thompson. The only thing I would say is the glasses on the shirt. Don't know where I fall on that, Tim, because I feel like it's bringing more attention that you didn't wear a tie. Or, and I hate to ruin this for him, does not count as a tie.
Maybe he thought it was a tie. Yeah.
I don't want to, make accusations here like Chael Sonnen, a carrot, and a bus. But I am saying I have questions on if he thought that counted as a tie. Like maybe in some regions there's like a bolo tie and he thought that was the Oklahoma version of a bolo tie. I don't know. But other than that, mostly high marks for Jet Thompson. Here's another one that I wanted to kind of bring up here. Andy Varela. Where did we fall in Andy Varela's fashion?
I like Andy Varela's fashion. I think this is a good look. This is probably something I myself, as a stylish older gentleman, such as, Andy's not older yet, but this is something that I definitely would wear. It's very fitted, showing off the guns, sleek. I think that's a good look. Real quick on Jet, he should have worn an ascot. If he would have had an ascot instead of the sunglasses, he would have nailed it. But I like Varela's look there. I think so far Varela's got the top look. Ascot, and then you think that picture's taken at the Playboy Mansion.
I want to bring this up for Andy Varela. Andy Varela looks like he's about to go golf with DJ Khaled's crew. And
another one
indeed. What's interesting about Andy is I saw him looking there and I said, dude, you look like you're about to go golf. And he didn't get hurt. He just goes like, okay, but maybe I am. And I thought, oh, he definitely feels a little bit about that. The shoes were a higher mark. I thought he came in okay for coach's standards. I actually might have expected a little bit more. And I couldn't tell if he was just scared by Chris Olivo. And I thought he figured if he's going to go all the way out there, maybe he should be a little more reserved, given that. Let's move on over to Matt Mash. Now, Matt Mash, seen here looking very confused after being told he looks like a Bad Bunny stunt double. To me, I was looking at this, and I was just in the middle of trying to figure it out. Now, we'll see some examples of this a little bit later, but I appreciated that the fit of the shirt was closer to the body style because not everybody did that. But Tim, what were your initial thoughts from him?
Probably a kid that doesn't dress up much. And you find yourself in a jam if you're not like let's say you never go to church and you never go to court. Well, you probably don't dress up, right? And so you get this, PGF, we got to dress up. And you're like, oh, shit. And you have like one black pair of khakis you wore as a busboy over at Waldo's Chicken and Beer, and you borrow a white shirt from somebody or something that's up. That's kind of the look. I think the hair kind of like gives it this essence like, I don't give AF. So he pulls it off. And he's Matt Mash. So he's got a dope name on top of it.
He does. I thought not bad. The caution I want to put here for just the white shirt option with no tie, no bling, is it does potentially run the risk of somebody asking for the check. So I just want to make sure our guys know that when you show up for the draft, you want to show up dressed to impress, dressed to the nines. Or, you want to make sure that you're not giving off some kind of energy that just says, I'm here to take your order, sir. So that's all. Moving on.
Very
Brady,
very Olive Garden-esque.
Brady Branscombe. I mean, listen, first of all, this looks like it's about to go on a milk carton somewhere. So I think it's a good place to start. But Tim, what was your initial reaction to this?
My initial reaction is the kid from the Meet the Goldbergs is all grown up. Let's see. He's I love you guys. I love you all. I like the floral print. I'm down with that. I'll get down with that. I like the glasses. They're a little bit like kind of pushing it a little big, little Sally Jesse Raphael, like little mixing, just a scotch, just a bit, not too much, just a little. I think it's a good look. It does look like maybe he got off the wrong plane and he was meaning to go to Honolulu and he got off in Las Vegas. But, he's in Vegas. He's on vacation. Living it up, man.
What I told him is there are Hawaiian shirts that are upscaled and there are Hawaiian shirts where you are going to go roast a luau pig. I think he fell more into the latter than the former, and he was actually sitting next to Math Guy, who, I don't want to say things to make people feel upset, but I felt Math Guy actually was more dressed appropriately with a Hawaiian shirt. So it's kind of weird. You can't get upstaged by your Math Guy who doesn't even math right. So please, Brady, just consider next time you do this. Just put that into the thought process when you get ready. We're going to move now to Zach Schneider, here being told that he was actually on the least wanted list at his school. But for this particular case, I actually appreciate the choice. The only thing, and there's no way you could have known this, he does vaguely blend into the background. If you notice that, it looks like you took the background with like a little paintbrush on your color correction and then you put that on his shirt. So otherwise, I actually thought it gave a good pop. I was a little surprised by that from Zach Schneider. What were your initial thoughts, Tim?
My initial thoughts are, is this PGF draft or am I watching a still shot from the show Cheaters? It kind of has that look, or People's Court. Right? Like he's Doug Llewellyn's asking him right now, how do you feel about losing the case? And he's getting ready to unload. I brought the receipts. It's unfortunate that he did blend in. It's a decent look. I do appreciate the colored shirt versus just the plain white shirt. Especially if you're not going to wear a jacket on it. So overall, I think he did okay. Not the best still shot. He does look like he's very defensive right now, or he's getting ready to be defensive. But nice job on the colors.
Shortly before this, they actually called him a Karen, and that was his reaction. So we have that in perpetuity. Let's move on. Mike John, seen here, making his favorite emoji face. I don't know if you've ever seen this about Mike John, but whatever you put up, he just responds with the cry laugh. Like, I've seen people put up bad news to Mike John, or I've put up like a, hey guys, I got injured today. And he sends the cry laugh emoji. And I'm thinking, that's what this dude does. His face is now permanently stuck like the cry laugh emoji, mid face. Any thoughts on this look from Mike John?
I like Mike John, but this looks like he's been working hard all day as an extra on the Matrix 11, like, the TV series. This looks like he's trying to impersonate Robert Kennedy here. With the sleeves rolled up, and he's like, yeah, I'm serious, but I got my upper unbuttoned and I got my sleeves rolled up. He looks like he's in pain. Looks like he may have given too much blood, right? At the clinic, and that's why the sleeves are rolled up. He had to get a check for that what's that stuff people sell? The plasma. He just gave some plasma in Vegas so he could afford to take the trip out. I like Mike John, but yeah, I've seen better pics of Mike John.
Yes, I don't know that they exist. What I would tell you is from this look, he looks like he's behind the opposite side of a desk at a Wells Fargo about to tell you some exciting options for your credit. The other thing that stands out to me here is he looks so stressed out. Like the half rolled up sleeves with the slightly loose tie tells you he's going through some stuff, man. Like it's been a rough week for Mike John here. So keep that in mind. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's not dying or anything, but I mean, just look at him. Let's move on to JJ Bowers. Okay, legit question here, and we can proceed on the fashion after this. But Tim, do you know where the eyebrows end and the hair begins? Because I do not. It all blends in a way that has me slightly concerned. Is this eyebrow hair or hair brows? Where are we on this?
It's hard to tell, but the kid is hiding something. All right. He's definitely got something. I don't know if he has horns under there he's trying to cover up, because when he doesn't have the hair down, he's got the Raiders hat on. So something's going on with JJ Bowers. We gotta have to get to the bottom of it. But he literally looks older here. Like he looks like he's like a young divorcee with two small kids, right? And he kind of looks like a different person versus when he has the hat on. When he has the hat on, he looks like somehow he's channeling Ice Cube or something. But this is
I didn't expect all the hair to flop forward. So when it happened, I thought that's a very large bowl to cut all the way around on that. And the second part is just like maybe the Raiders hat was necessary today. Like, I can't tell that. Maybe it would have given more attitude. He was also wearing, if I remember correctly, some like maroon pants. And I thought that was an interesting juxtaposition. Not enough to be top tier, though. I will be honest. I felt like it got lost in the shuffle. It was more of a middle appearance from somebody who went very high on the draft for a financial proposition on that one.
Yeah, shy eyebrows.
So we've got Jordan Worth here, who looks like he's upset you asked him how to do the magic trick that the magician just did. So I'm not quite sure what to make of this. Like, to me, he seems like the missing member of Monty Python. There are a lot of confusing things, but about his fashion in particular here, Tim, what did you fall
on? I like Jordan Worth. I like the shirt. I can't tell if the button is the top button is buttoned or not. It looks like it might be open, but I kind of dig that. You know, it's like the stylish skater look. It's like I kind of skate, but I'm not like a gangster skater. You know, there's a lot of those. He's just like a chill skater guy. He's got the chill hair. It is an interesting look for a guy that's going to fight. You know, looks like he should be working at Tilly's. Something like that, right? You know, Hot Topics or some kind of ski shop or something you go into and you're gonna.
I don't remember if I had this joke a little bit earlier, but I said he killed at Lilith Fair. So I'm not sure.
Oh, wow. I like it.
If that was the joke I settled on, but it's the joke I'm going with. Let's move on to our next individual. So this is Chris Olivo, who looks like a bisexual bounty hunter. I don't understand what the assignment here is, but there's a lot going on. So, Tim, maybe just explain what you saw in person and what was standing out to you there.
Chris Olivo is channeling, and I don't know if he's trying to, but he's channeling the fashion vibe of 2009 raging alcoholic crazy man Russell Brand. This is like crazy Russell Brand, right? This is the vibe that I'm getting from the outfit. I think it's dope. I do think that Chris probably spent more on the clothes than what he got in the draft.
Oh no.
Like this, I mean, this is name brand stuff, man. He's not wearing Target shit. Like he's wearing Gucci and Dolce Gabbana, unless he's got a hookup that I don't know about. This guy dropped some bread on this, man. He came in.
Tim, here's where I got confused. There were multiple times when I looked at him and I thought he seems like the villain in Snow Dogs. Like he's just short of pointing at a bunch of dogs and being like, get them. So I don't know. I feel like he should be on a snowmobile somewhere. There's a lot to kind of process in this. Yeah. But he did make the biggest statement of all the individuals there. And one person, Joe, if you would, says he's goated. Now, I will say he definitely was, perhaps, we can't claim this for sure. We still have a couple more to go through. He might have been the best dressed.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from the villainy of him or the fact that Cruella DeVille looked at his coat and said, damn that bitch. So there is that. Let's move down. This was Robert Blackledge's outfit and drip. And here you can see him pointing out the number of colored shirts that he owns. Now, I'm interested in kind of demonstrating here. It's classic. It's a little bit on the, like, you can see a little of the chest hair. But I was wondering if the collar buttons up at the right place. Here's what I'm talking about, guys. Sometimes that collar, it's a little high, so you keep it unbuttoned. So it makes me wonder if it's the right fitted shirt. Now, it might be, because this dude is lanky and tall and skinny AF. So these are things that a lot of people go through. Like if your tailor saw this, he would be like, no, come here, sir. No. We got to fix this. But nonetheless, Tim, any thoughts from the whole presentation as when you saw it in person?
A couple. One is this guy's doing his best to impersonate Jared Kushner on a bender here. And then at number two, the word that comes to mind is irregular. And I would not doubt if this was pulled out of the fancy pack at Ross Dress for Less, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, that kind of thing. That's what that collar's telling me. That collar's awfully high. Like it's a widespread collar, but you ain't buttoning that collar up. That's a 15-inch pencil neck collar right there. It's not going to happen.
I'm also not sure here, Tim. I'm not sure if maybe it's the lighting, but it seems like it's a cream shirt, and I have some appreciation. It's not full white here. Now, it could just be the lighting, and that's my lighting, so Lord if I know. But I felt like in person it was white. Here, it gives off an appearance that it's an off-white, which, hey, respect. Not a lot of people were going to play that game, so I will give you some credit for that, Rob. I was not sure that was going to be the direction we were going, but props to you, sir. Let's move on. Rafael Freya, right here, making the kind of gesture that makes a dad nervous when he meets the new kid for the very first time. Yeah, this is definitely he's going to date your daughter and not have her home by 11:01. This is definitely the look of a kid that you get immediately suspicious of. And perhaps with good reason. Perhaps he's actually a convert. This is also like the hands here makes it seem like a missionary who knows he's got somebody in the reels. Like, Tim, there's a lot going on here, but what make you of this?
Man, we got a young Richard Ramirez on our hands right here. This is this guy is frightening. The prayer hands really are a red flag for me with the little half smirk on his face. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, he's the missionary that's about to give you all smallpox. And he knows it. He's just going to open those hands and go and just blow it right into your face and you're going to get it. had some interesting things to say too. So I think all in all combined, we got a real killer on our hands here with Rafael Ferreira.
So, yeah, I mean, the only thing that would make this worse is if he was licking the lips. Like, this is already a bad look, but that's the one that would really make you go, like, get out of my house, young man. No, I don't trust you. Let's go to Armin here. Now, Armin definitely poses with Andy, and he had a solo shot by himself that I thought was just great, but this is the most bro on vacation sort of photo you've ever seen. And I thought it completed the package. But if you're looking just at Armin by himself, it's very tactical. Like, this dude probably has a concealed carry on him just based on the way he's dressed. He also probably hangs out very discreetly on a flight, if you know what I'm saying, in the background, making sure everything is going to go according to plan. Like, this is definitely Melissa McCarthy coming up to him and saying, hey, are you an agent? And him going, no. Like, look at this man. That is what he looks like here. Any further thoughts on what he brought to that fashion day?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. And he's definitely putting off a vibe, like not to be trifled with. And now he has Varela in the background. They're giving off a very Eastern European feel too. Like, I can't tell if it's Russian, Asian influence. I'm not quite gonna say Tate Brothers, but almost like a parody or a send up of it. But I can appreciate the outfits. I think they look good. He is very tactical. It looks like he might have a paracord bracelet on his left arm, or is that a tattoo? I can't exactly tell, but he definitely has an interesting belt. Good look. I would mess with him. Like, I would go find another victim.
So we move on. Thank you for that. To Landon here, seen with the fit that can only be described as he went to the McLovin section of the store. This is interesting because you get the sense he might start juggling. For Landon, it's the youthful innocence in the face that I think is slightly confusing here. But the belt is a good accessory. I cannot lie about that. Like, it has the intercontinental feel here, Tim, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But what make you of this apparel?
He has the look of a man who's never been hurt by a woman before. Just the peace sign with the intercontinental belt. It's not happening, man. There's too much going on. The bright smile, the bright face, the ill-fitted collar. Once again, listen. Looks like you might have hung the shirt up in the bathroom to get the wrinkles out. Sometimes you got to put a hot iron on that. Like, sometimes you got to bite the bullet, plug it in, put the iron on it, press it out. But respect for showing up with the belt and carrying that shtick the whole way through. Ballsy move. Way to put a target on your back, right? And I mean, look, if he loses, does his title now transfer to the other guy? I mean, is he the what do they call it? The lineal belt holder? Is that what's going to happen? I would say so.
I mean, I'm very entertained by this. And I also want to give a shout out to Egg, who on another version of the broadcast says, hey, it sounds like somebody needs to get their smoke alarm fixed. And I will tell you this. If you know one thing about me, you know that I am a prepared individual. At our residence, our landlord has been very lazy. And my poor dog has been terrified of this thing. And when they said they were going to send somebody, they were like, oh, yeah, we'll send somebody. And I go, when? And that happens to be potentially now. So if I rush off this broadcast, that is why. We were debating on whether I would still keep the cameras rolling and yell at the person for not being here earlier, because I sent it on Sunday. And, we're in the middle of debating that. I do love this, though. And I'll bring this back up because it does beg a photo to go with it. And this comes from Natalie that says, I'd hire Mike John. Banker look for real. Business banking, women in banking. So is the hashtag women in banking in
That's
regards to Mike John? Because I don't know that I would say hashtag women in banking for him. But you know what? You can tweet that one. I'm good with that. So anyway, Steven, we've answered this question. And I love that many of you are not concerned that I could potentially die. You're more concerned that it makes small, tiny noise that barely chirps in the back of your little broadcast here. So yes, I have done my best to mute that, and I've actually done a pretty good job, if I say so myself, because you have not heard it as many times as it's gone off. But yes, we will now go on over to our next leading candidate here, who CJ Murdoch, dressed here like a checkered flag at the finish line for a virgin race. I have to tell you, when I saw this fit, I didn't know what to make of it. I know you nerds love this thing. And the thing is that CJ is one of the elder statesmen of this group. So this is a choice that is a mix of youthful energy and one that says, I too have seen anime. How did it play like in person for you, Tim?
It played like Uncle Rico and Johnny Depp playing Hunter Thompson mashed up together. I mean, this is what it looks like to me. They had a love child, and CJ Murdoch was the result here. The yellow taxi cab shirt is kind of cool. Like, I kind of dig it. With the I don't know if that's like Ben 10. Is this Pokemon? Is it Naruto? Is it, I don't know. I go Voltron, and I go Transformers, and then after that I'm lost, dude. So I don't know what anime this is. I do like the indecisiveness with the haircut. It's almost like he changed his mind twice during the same haircut. And the hairstylist just said, like, that's fine. We'll just leave the beginning just how it is, and we'll just do something different over here.
See, I had a different take on that. I think this was a person, the barber, was starting the haircut, and maybe after 5 minutes, he goes, no, that's good, and walked out.
Yeah, something.
Let's move on. Anthony Gojani, listen, this is a wonderful example of somebody who is about to terrorize Sharon Tate. Like, this is somebody who is welcoming you to their cult and says it's all going to be great. It's all groovy, baby. Like, you will see 9 Netflix documentaries about him in the next 20 years. But for you, Tim, what stood out to you about his fashion sense that day?
Not a lot. I will say that. Not a lot. And he does give off that vibe like the first person you meet when you go to the cult meeting for the first time. He's like the first guy that kind of says, like, hi. You see him at the hors d'oeuvre area where you're getting some snacks before you learn how to cult up. And he's kind of talking to you. I've been in the cult for 13 years, brother. I don't know. Maybe his nickname should be Tex. He's definitely an interesting character. And he kind of like, I recognize a troll when I see a troll. Like, there's just troll aura that comes out of them, and fellow trolls go, oh, I ain't feeding that guy. Right? I might support his trolling if it sounds interesting, but I'm definitely going to pay attention to him. You could look at the look on his face. He's mid-troll right now. Definite troll material.
I agree with you. We are now going to move on to our next photo here with Christos Papadopoulos. Here, you know, in this particular photo, it looks like the police sketch version of Ricky Martin. So here's what I feel is the wrong choice. I feel like this is the guy who's going to make his way onto the dance floor of a wedding that you probably shouldn't let have the floor. This is a guy who's probably mid-sentence about to convince you as to why you need to invest in the best pyramid scheme you've ever heard. Like, this is the dude after high school who's like, hey, man, you want to come take a ride? Oh, it's just a meeting. It's all good. Yes, I know it's in the shape of a triangle, but like... Any thoughts here, Tim?
Yeah, this is a guy that looks like he gets way too sensual on the dance floor when he's dancing. This is a guy that looks like, look, do all these guys work as waiters at the same restaurant? And is Mike John their manager? Is that why he's so burned out and tired? Because they all got the same damn outfit on so far, man. This is, I'm going to tell you what this is right here. And I really like Christos, so take this with a grain of salt. This is where Stephen Eakin fucked up and let him take the microphone. You can see that he's holding the mic. The hands are up, and he's like, I ain't even got started yet. Don't clap yet, because I got plenty more to say. But I like Christos. I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, his clothes were fitted. They were put together well. He definitely came in with an agenda. So I got to give him credit for that. But the white shirt, unbuttoned, sleeves rolled up like all the other dudes, I mean...
You just blend in.
I don't know. Did like El Torito close down? They lay a bunch of people off, and
this is definitely him announcing, "Hey, my shift is over. Jake is going to go ahead and take care of you now for the rest of the evening." So I could see that happening there. Nonetheless, we move on to Anthony Molina, who unfortunately I did not get a great shot of because he did not stand up for a long period of time, and then once he did stand up, he had a New Hope Kings shirt on him. But this to me actually reads as a dude that legitimately I was neither bothered nor impressed by. Like, I was just in the middle of being like, oh, he just looks that way. Okay, that's kind of cool. He just wore a black polo, decent slacks, a passing grade. Not like one that you're going to remember, but one that you weren't offended by. Oh, and let me just say this real quick. I know we brought this up a little bit earlier about the little smoke thing that you guys just heard right there, but I only take insults from those who hold the microphone the entire time. Those who give the microphone to a very eager young man who looks like this. I mean... Man. Can you really trust that man to make a joke in the comment section, Stephen Eakin? Just saying. Nonetheless, since there's not much to say here, we'll move on to Juan Martinez. And what's interesting about this to me is like the person who showed up to your wedding who your aunt was really mad didn't wear a sport coat. Like, just goes, look at him. He just wore a dress shirt. Like, that's the vibe I got off of him here. Where did you fall on this one, Tim?
Yeah, was he rocking jeans? I can't remember, but I picture him with like some jeans on. He looks like to me when like Stella's relatives who work out on the ranch dress up to go somewhere. They're like, they put on their nice blue shirt, jeans, their better boots, and a nice belt buckle. And they're like, I'm dressed. They bring the full Budweiser beer bottles, right? Not the cans. The cans is for like when you're working. The bottles are for like special events. That's the vibe I get from him. But he also is like pretty chill, dude. Yeah. A little Ari Shafir-ish going on right here in this photo.
Sure.
But he seems like a pretty nice guy. And he went for 1.5K. Hell of a deal. So
for sure.
Nice job there.
Let's point this out, though, Tim. He definitely, from this look, pre-gamed outside. Like, without fail. You know that's exactly what happened here. I wanted to throw you a slight curveball. What are we feeling here with Travis Thomas?
Dude, this picture right here looks like they just picked him to be the regional lead of the Church of Scientology out in Jupiter, Florida or something. Like, definitely got that vibe going. But Travis looked good, man. He had a nice suit on, very professional. And I just thought, man, this guy's up to something. I don't trust a man who changes his clothes 3 times in 5 hours. Got to watch out for that guy.
It looks like we elected a jiu-jitsu Joel Osteen. And he's it.
Yeah. Your arm bars are good. Just give me some more money.
This is one that was slightly controversial because he tried coming at me and I had to tell him, no, sir.
Oh,
you look
boy.
like the Joker going to open mic night. You cannot say a word about my Pumas, sir. Where did you fall on Brady Hilton's gear?
Man. He looks like an actor, and I can't place his name. He's a old school dude, and he always has this pencil thin little mustache that goes out. He's kind of artsy fartsy. Interesting look. It looks like that era of time in the 70s when fashion was transitioning, but not everybody made the jump yet. And so they're like, well, let's just tone it down a little, but it wasn't quite yet the 80s. This is like Three's Company, the first season. You know what I mean? It's like kind of got that vibe of fashion to it. Like, this is a dude you would expect to see at the Regal Beagle. That's who this guy is, but it's a good look. I like the glasses. The mustache is a little creeper, but
the mustache has made some registries. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
What I can say about this outfit is he looks like a David Niven understudy. So it kind of speaks in that 70s language. And for sure, he was a guest star on Three's Company. But before we bring up other sitcoms people have no idea about, I wanted to get to this. This is John Chandler seen looking a little betrayed that you promised you weren't going to get mad. And in this particular case, I wasn't necessarily sure where to fall on the shirt because to me, it looks like he vaguely for a second got sponsored by Dippin' Dots and that they put it on the shirt, but I'm still not sure where we fall on it. Where did you land?
Chandler's got a certain youthful, innocent look to him. I'm not saying that he is innocent, but he's kind of got the look, especially in this picture. It's captured pretty well. Pretty nice dude. Kind of hard to talk down to or talk bad about. The shirt's okay. It's a little bit in the same vibe as the Jordan Worth shirt. It's like they got to deal at Jack Surfboards or something like that. And they're rocking their Billabong dress wear right now. That's kind of where that feels. But, short sleeve button, at least it's a button up.
Fair.
Right. And then I would rather have him forego rolling up the sleeves and just have short sleeves.
Agreed. I think it's a more true to character thing here.
Yeah.
This is, of course, the esteemed Dom Lobo, who seen here not quite understanding how photography works, like legitimately confused that he was being sucked into his soul in a camera. Listen, I have to say this. Dom Lobo looks like the most promising PGA prospect there is right now. Like, just looking at this dude is going to win Masters this year. 100%. He is the next heir to Tiger Woods in this apparel, in my opinion.
Yeah. He looked like he wasn't sure what was going on the whole day. He had this look on his face. From the time he walked up to the rope, Steven and I were working the door downstairs initially, and he came up and he had the same look on his face. When they called him up for the draft, he had the same look on his face. When all the switcheroos went around, he had the same look on his face. When Alex Windling interviewed him, he's got the same look on his face. But I would say, I think this guy is going to come in hot. I think he's salty, and I think he's got something to prove.
I would agree. I'm going to move to this last one, and I want your honest take on this one, Tim.
Oh, this guy's a chump. This is a guy that wears a hat to cover the egghead dome. Sorry, egg, but listen, I know you're egghead, but I have the real egghead. I'm almost rivaled TJ DeSantis, but not quite. He's got me beat. And then the gold chain, it's like, listen, I was in a production, a local play for training day. I was going to play Denzel Washington's character. I still had the wardrobe left over. That's the look. I might show up with a leather jacket next time. Leather jacket, black turtleneck, gold chains. Woo! Hot, dude.
Tim,
hot.
It looks like you need 12 of those chains to make one chain. Like, the way I see this one little baby chain, because what happens is you look like
Understated.
Batista as a grandpa looking back at
Yeah.
his old footage. And what ends up happening to me is I'm like, well, I'm standing right next to this dude on the broadcast, so I don't know what to do. But you got like a little tiny chain, and I'm like having to squint my eyes. Like if I didn't have my glasses on, I wouldn't know you had a chain on. But instead, I had to do this, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Son, come here. Let me see if that's a chain. Is that a chain? Oh, it is a oh, I thought that was some floss.
Yeah.
I was going to use that real quick. Nonetheless, I'm not sure where I fall on us having chains. And we discussed this very openly. And you were so excited to bring a chain. And then when you did, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what we're going to do about this.
Listen, I got a thicker one on layaway at Don Roberto Jewelers. It's a Cuban. It's very, very tasteful. It's going to look really nice. The other thing is, I looked at a picture of myself and I told my wife, I look like a reformed gang member who's now a youth pastor, but
sure.
trying to still kind of like victory outreach style, like still reaching into the hood.
You're definitely a at-risk counselor here. I do see that for you. Let me go ahead.
The drug counselor who uses. Sorry.
Let me go back to the board here. We're going to rapid fire through some of these because we do still have some work to do. But yes, we're going to now go to money. Tim, do you have on your possession who got the most money off of this?
Yeah. So Jet Thompson, obviously. So there was the coaches had to bid to get the number one pick. So whoever had the highest bid could just then pick whoever they wanted. New Hope went in $7,700, pulled Jet Thompson as the number one pick. The number two in terms of money was JJ Bowers, and he went for $6,600. And I thought Bowers would go for a decent amount. I wasn't expecting him to come in at number two. The rest of the pack, besides those two guys, I think the next highest guys, Christos went for 53, which is respectable. I think he was number three. And then we got some guys at 38, 35. Rafael Ferreira went for 64, actually. So there's a handful of guys. Most of the guys were 35 and under, and there was a bunch around the 2,500 range. So, most of the teams played it kind of conservative, and some of the numbers got bid up, I feel like, because the team started to get desperate. They're like, we got to get somebody. So
I would agree with that. I would say this, though. I feel like that brings us to another topic here that I think is very important to go into, which is steals. Who is a steal? I'll start with the most obvious. Lobo at $1,000. Steal. Like, there's only upside for him in this. And I know it's hard to hear because you come into this wanting to make more money. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Tim, but Anthony Gojani was at one point referencing like, hey, at least I didn't get walked like that one dude, which was Lobo, right?
Yeah.
How much did Anthony Gojani go for?
$1,000.
I thought it was 1,100.
Oh, you know what? It might be 11.
Nonetheless, that kind of weird smack talk has the air of somebody who went for JJ Bowers money, not the dude who's like, hey man, I went for $100 more. So to me, it is funny to see how this all transgresses because, yeah, I think it is a little awkward to be walked, but you ended up with about the same amount of cash flow nonetheless at the end. So there's a lot of stuff that we still have to process and figure out. But who else might have been a steal in your opinion, Tim?
A couple guys. You mentioned Lobo, who I think really was the steal of the draft. The other two names that are in there that I think went pretty inexpensively are Molina went for 1.5, which I think is a hell of a deal. The fact that the New Hope Kings got Molina at that price is crazy good. And then Jordan Worth went for 1.1, and I think that's a really good deal for someone like Jordan Worth. Worth's got all kinds of ways to beat you. He's a tough match. For 1.1K, that's a easy money all day. And another one, which it might not seem that way, but I think Matt Mash at 2.5 is pretty reasonable, to be honest with you. Like, that's a pretty good deal. And I think this year this season, we're really going to be able to look at points per dollar and really say, like, man, we paid this much for this guy. He put out this many points. And I think we're going to start seeing that stat kind of drive through the future as we kind of move through these drafts. So
would agree to that. Thank you very much for that analysis, Tim. We are now going to go to our next segment, which is we're going to get some advice for next year's draft. While it's still fresh in our head, normally this is something you do next year or maybe at the end of the season. The real issue you fall into is we're going to have so much more news by then. I figured, why don't we just get ahead of next year and start giving advice for the 2026 PGF draft. Your thoughts, Tim?
My advice, especially to the coaches, would be, you can't really set your sights on specific guys. The coaches that seem to do the best are the ones that kind of group the guys together. We need one guy from this group. We need one name from these few names, and we need one guy from these few names. And I think if you play it that way, you have a better chance at kind of filling the spots that you need on your team. The other thing is, the coaches really, really need to do a better job of tracking what they're spending and what the other teams are spending. That's low-hanging fruit. That's easy to do. On top of it, psychological warfare. And we saw Mika come out and kind of pull that off a little bit when he tried to make a play I think it was for Juan Martinez. I like that gamesmanship. I would say start seeding the room with rumors right out of the gate. Don't let anybody exactly know what you're going through, what you're going for, because then it's harder to bid you up. It's harder to thwart you with what you're doing. And I think it gives you an advantage. So put some thought into it, show up, multiple scenarios, and game those other dudes. You guys aren't that smart. They're pretty easy to game. If you come in with some manipulation tactics, I think you'll fare pretty well.
Thank you for that, Tim. Here's my advice. If you're going to make a speech, try making one speech, not three. You may have noticed Christos had a prepared statement that he wanted to say. And it wasn't bad. He actually got applause at one point. And that applause break should have been the end of it. It just seemed like it was a mishmash of ideas that somehow were part bid on me, part history of the sport, and I think it ended on a fact that he knew the rule set the best, and here's why. I feel like you're more effective if you just pick one of those. Now, it's not to say he didn't go for money. He did, but I think that's based more on talent and his group of people that he belongs to where he trains. So if you're just judging based on the rhetoric itself, I just thought, here's a dude who wanted to emulate CM Punk's pipe bomb, and instead it was just a bomb that exploded. And for me, I wanted to get behind it. Now, granted, we were on a little bit of a time crunch, but it's how do you use your time? How is your effective time being used? And I just thought in that particular case, just go down and look at the organization of the structure that he had. It's a little bit of A, subpoint B, subpoint Z, and maybe a point 2, maybe a point 3. Very unclear. So for you, young man, I would say maybe put it on a note card first. Like, figure out what logically goes with each other. And then maybe it'll come together. But Christos, passion was there. Execution, so-so. Organization needs work. Big needs work. That's my advice for next year. So that if you guys come through, if you're not a talker, have your 1 to 2 sentence ready to go. If you are a talker, get the shit under control. Because after a certain amount of time, I might start booing next year. That's all. Let's move on to the next thing, which is this, Tim. We're going to go out and find a little bit of some information from Andy Varella's mathematician. We actually have an exclusive interview with him. We conducted this shortly after the events unfolded. So why don't we go to that footage to hear more from the man who didn't know how to math, but was an advisor nonetheless to Andy Varella.
We had for Team Varela, just some basic formulas, just to make sure I understand what a right angle is. Just making sure it has some bullet points. I actually had to write this down in the middle of the draft because Hanato was being a terrorist. He was just bidding against us, just for the sake of bidding on a spite. But then I was gonna do some portraits of the athletes. I got JJ right there. We got Brady Branscombe. It's like super identical. We got Travis in his suit.
That's actually really good.
That actually looks pretty good, right?
Really
I got his ears right too. Yeah. But then we went to the actual team lineup. And,
I see a lot of crossouts here, sir.
Yeah, a lot of crossouts. There was a little bit of like an audible in between the draft. They were trying to do a refinance of JJ so that they could buy, I think, Lobo or something. But then BMAC got involved. Everybody got involved. They were doing refinancing.
How do you feel about that?
I thought it was kind of fucked up because then people were spending money on high-level athletes that they wanted to have to secure, which is kind of weird. You spend a lot of money on a guy, then they refinance him. They kind of just changed the name of the game. So they went back on that, undid it. BMAC made an executive decision, and so this is the final draft for everybody.
Where did it go wrong for you, sir?
Where did it go wrong for? Okay, so I got blamed for a mathematical error, but it was Hanato bidding more money than he had because Hanato wasn't keeping track of his money. So they were like, "Oh, who's fucking overbidding?"
But you would have known that if you were paying attention to everybody, right?
No, but okay. So what happened was I accounted for Hanato's budget, but he went over it, and then so they were blaming me. But it all worked out. Hanato actually did get a really good team. So I think everybody's pretty happy with their teams right now. We're gonna see. This is gonna be some good matchups. Very excited to see how this goes down.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for your time, Tim. What, if anything, did we learn from that very revealing conversation with Andy Varela's mathematician?
For some people, math is a concrete thing where you can go like, I got these numbers and then I put these numbers and then I get these numbers. For other people, math is like a suggestion. I like that he said he had some formulas written down, and then you look at the formula and you're like, that's not a formula I've seen before. What kind of language is this? And then he proceeds to show you his sketches, very 7-year-old-ish range of artwork capabilities, which, that's fine. He's documenting, he's taking notes, and he's paying him for it. Listen, calculators work pretty good. I mean, that technology's been around for a while. It's pretty trusted. You probably don't have to write it all down by hand. And there's another thing called a spreadsheet. You could probably ask.
Don't do that to them. There's no way they know how to use a spreadsheet. Like, if you gave Andy Varela, Brady, and the mathematician a spreadsheet, you might have broken them.
I mean, probably. You're probably right. But we need to devise some mechanical way for these guys to count. If we got to put 15,000 beans in 4 different containers and have them pull them out so they could represent what each guy has spent, then we got to do something, because
there was a moment where they're supposed to have cash on hand, right? Like the actual physical cash where they hand it to the people. And I still think they would be asking this many in the middle of the draft. You're probably right. So I'm concerned from a number of different angles. Having said that, here's my note. Mathematician guy, still pretty good at jiu-jitsu though. So what he lacks in his ability to plus and minus, he more than makes up for in his pressure and his attempts at doing a smother, which under no circumstances was going to happen to me. Nonetheless, it was really tough rolling with him. So I was proud of him because I did roll with him the next day, and it felt like he could get some revenge on me. And he did great. Positionally amazing. Great neon belly. But there were a couple times during the roll where I just kind of reminded him, like, you're kind of shit at math. Now, that didn't help me in the roll, but I just had to make sure he remembered that. So it was a minor win, one might say, but one with a lot of upside here. This is a little thing as we move on to the board, Tim, that I wanted to spend a time, and we're going to rocket through this one. But it was really important to notice one person was the most charismatic person, and it wasn't a player. It was the coach himself. I want you to look through these photos and tell me the first thing that jumps to mind when you see every one of these incredibly expressive emotes from one Hanato Canuto. So let's change back to the photo board, and one by one, Tim, rapid fire me as you see them slide in.
Oh, geez. Sleepy time. Too much chamomile.
Facts. Sliding into number 2.
You gonna eat those ribs?
What's happening here, Tim? This is a very smug Canuto. This is, he got something over at Andy Varela. He's feeling pretty proud of himself. So
no,
that's
I think
what
this is him. This is him looking over at somebody's plate of food. Going,
We'd go to our third.
Oh man, Raquel just called him on the phone and told him he made a dumb move in the draft, and now he's feeling bad about it.
This is daydreaming Canuto to me. This is the one that like dreams of being a painter out in some foreign land and is like, if only I was so good at painting, but I'm not. So that to me is what screamed out here. We go to our next one. What's going on here, Tim?
Ooh, this is like him at the Academy Awards. He's hoping that his name, they just announced him as a nominee, and he's looking up, but they called up Varela. It's that moment where it just registered in his brain that they said Varela, not Canuto. And he's trying to like not be sad, but he's sad.
Clearly is sad here. Moving on.
Oh, this is sexy time. This is sexy Canuto. This is bad boy Canuto. Like relaxed, I'm just chilling. Wow.
I was not expecting that one on that. I think that was the one that basically has a secret he wants to tell you, but doesn't know if it's the right time.
Yeah, I could see that.
The next one is this.
This is Uber Eats Canuto, where he's like, he's looking at the phone because he's got to pick up the package. He's got to pick up the takeout. He's at the stand and he's putting his hand up because he don't want to wait in the line with the casuals because he's the Uber Eats guy. He wants to get the food and get out.
I'll be honest. This one to me read as kid in kindergarten who wants to use the restroom.
Okay. I could see it. I could see it.
What is going on here?
Him and Mika are texting each other right now in this photo. He just sent him a meme pic of Andy Varela.
Amazing. This is a guy who's just figured out there's a front side to the camera on his phone and is having a lot of fun with it. All right. This is also a concerning one. So they went from being friendly to now this.
Yeah, this is the first pick was the Varela meme, and that was funny. The second pick was the Canuto meme, not funny, hurtful.
Can I point this out? Like, Mika 100% knows Canuto's passcode to his bank now. Like, this is a dude who's not even trying to hide what's going on. Mika literally is looking at his pick. Like, is literally looking at his bankroll and goes, yeah, I know what you have. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He's totally peeping. He's getting his ATM PIN number right now.
What is happening here? Look at this. You know what I have to say? Most photogenic goes to Canuto.
Yeah. This is an ad for cauliflower ear renewal. You should have seen his ear before this. I know it looks bad now. It looks like a chewed up piece of bubble gum, but before this, it was even worse.
It looks like 12 students put their gum underneath a desk and that's what popped out.
Like they put one of those cochlear implants in his ear because he wasn't able to hear because of the cauliflower, and he just got the hearing. He just heard Andy's voice for the first time.
You know what this is? This is the dude in one of those medical commercials where they're talking about all the side effects, but he's still smiling like this.
Yeah, yes. He just got on the new drug.
We go to these last couple ones, which, by the way, this is one of my favorites.
This is I need to evacuate.
I honestly thought the first time I saw this one, this was him doing his best Bobby De Niro impression. Like, you sure about that?
Oh, yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
You sure about that? I heard things. So that is what I read on that one. Couple more here for Canutes. This one to me, though, this was magic. What's happening here, Tim?
This is him basically calling Andy Varela a wavon right now. He's just like, you're lazy. You won't do the math. You're overbidding. Wavon.
I want to say this. If these two gentlemen are living in Vegas in 50 years, this is the buddy cop thing I want to see. Like, this is the buddy Last Vegas movie where two old guys get together and bicker when they go to the soup station. Like, this is the movie I want to see. So I just want to make sure we get that book down in the future. What's happening here, though?
Ooh. This is Varela realizing that whatever he had schemed is not going to work. And Canuto is laughing over there like Resident Dr. Evil. Just laugh. That's like an evil, like, you're in pain and I'm not laugh. This is the kid you hate because he has all the cool stuff and you don't. I'm rich and you're poor.
This is Andy like telling him I have cancer and Canuto going, so that means you can't finish the season? And the last one of Canuto here. What's happening in this one? I mean, it's similar to the first one, if you're being honest, though, Tim.
Yeah, this is Canuto looking like he smelled something foul.
This to me is Canuto being like, I think that pick was dumb, but whatever. If you say it's cool, it's cool. And Tim, that's going to conclude that. We have one section left to get through here on this board before we call it here. And this is gallery. Now, granted, in the past, whenever we do gallery, we bring up other people's comments. On this particular episode, we're actually going to do another set of photos. And I'd like to take you through first impressions, but I'll give you some prompts. If we go back to this photos, I want you to see, these were just some around the way photos from the draft. And okay. I want you, Tim, to tell me what is your first thought when you saw this photo. And I apologize in advance to our good friend, Mr. Anik.
He's like looking up probably at me right now. Like, oh, you decided to join us, because there was an empty chair for a while in the broadcast booth, which was kind of funny looking.
So this photo, this moment rung out to me, and I said, I got to capture it. And there's a reason why, because I immediately thought, and again, we love you, sir, he was having a conversation with this guy, because they seemed right about the same level of energy. So I said, I don't think this photo is going to happen again, but we have to mark the moment that Anik went full Nick Cage, and you never go full Nick Cage.
Yeah, I could see it.
All right, let's move on. This was one that really, like, honestly, I thought this was a tasteful moment for Mika. Mika looked super chill, super happy. And I thought, man, what a great moment from him. That was when you knew he was the true elder statesman of the group, where he's like, no, I'm going to get my guys. I'm good.
Yeah, this is the look that a guy who's been a black belt for 39 years has on his face when he gets over on you in the end.
Here's one of my favorite ones, just for a subtle reason. Why is Raphael leaning on the table like the Joker about to talk to Batman?
Yeah, he's got a Heath Ledger vibe going right there. This guy gives off, even in photos, man, this guy gives off a lot of energy. A lot of energy. That I would not want my daughter bringing this guy home.
We'll go through these last couple ones. This is
Varela. I don't have a daughter, so don't get mad.
Fair, exactly. What's happening here with Varela?
This is Varela being like, this is like him remembering, like, fuck, I gotta go fight fucking Tackett later on today.
That's a very accurate statement.
And he just wants to chill. Everyone's going to get Brazilian barbecue, but him.
This is one of my favorite behind the scenes moments. What's happening here, Tim?
This is like those classic videos of the guy at the beach with his wife, and his wife catches him like filming another lady at the beach, and then he like looks at his wife and he's holding the camera and he's like, oh shit, I'm about to die.
You might be wondering, what was that face in reference to? Well, it was this. And this is Christos 9 beers deep, getting into Always and Forever, his rendition. It killed me. Like, this is a dude who probably should have gone to karaoke that night. And last to what's happening here, sir?
This is Brandon McCaffrin, well pleased and laughing when he overturns the trade that he approved 12 minutes earlier.
Talk about photos you can hear. You can hear the laugh. Like, that Brandon McCaffrin laugh is coming through real strong here. And finally, what is this?
This is B-Mac giving the thumbs up. I don't know if this is the thumbs up. Usually the defiant look, it's not that finger that you put up. He might be saying sit and spin. Like that, it could be that. It could be that. Or it could be good job. Or it could be like defiant hitchhiker. Like somebody's going to pick me up and give me a ride because I'm going to Tonka City.
I thought 2 things on this. The first is he looks like the kid with attitude in the 90s, like in an action film. And the second part that took me to, this is him, Terminator 2 dying.
Yeah. This is Steven Dorff on a really bad day.
This is spectacular. Well, Tim, that has concluded our work here on the board. I will take us back to it, but let the people know where they can find us, sir, and what is coming up next for Inside the BJJ.
You could find us on the Bullpen always. We will be back on Friday with another installment of this great program. And listen up, if you like this show, tell somebody that you like it. Subscribe, leave a comment, put the word out. You love jiu-jitsu, you love all this stuff. Then you could be bothered to spend a few minutes to promote what we're doing. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch me at Inside BJJ, all that jazz. If you're in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. If you're out in Stockton, go see my boys at 10th Planet Stockton. Raph, it's great to be back, man. I love you. Great show today. I love talking the draft, and I really love looking at pictures and just talking mad shit.
Likewise. And I love the fact that right now, Egg is in the comment section on one of the broadcasts, raising ire and saying, like, Canuto didn't actually go over his budget. I want to make it very clear he didn't. And it's like, do you ever fear, Egg, that you will be replaced by AI? Because I feel like you're the closest of us to getting replaced by AI. Like in real time, when you teach AI to say, correct me when something's wrong, that's the Egg position. So I'm just saying, like, bro, let's not talk about Mexicans getting replaced here as cheap labor. I think it's Egg first. Tim, I'm going to let you get on out of here, but thank you very much for your work today, sir. And ladies and gents, that is going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. Now, listen, I have a little thing that's been chirping. You've heard it a few times. I want to make this nice and quick so you don't hear it 20 times. First things first. Motherfucker. First things first. If you guys like the show, like, comment, and subscribe. Find us wherever you can. You can find me at patreon.com/grappling hour. We got interviews going up all the time. We got some local talent that I'm very excited to bring to your attention. So go check that out. You see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And that is only if you are a Patreon member. It means a lot to me. You can also check us out at Inside BJJ for Tim and the Grappling Hour for me. Would love it if you go there, like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference for us that way. Last couple reminders, you can head to rafesparza.com/merch. Get yourself a Grappling Hour t-shirt or a hoodie. Lots of merch there. It goes directly back into the show. And last but not least, if you want to continue the conversations we have here, check us out on the Discord at Grappling Hour. All right, friends, that's going to do it for us today on the Bullpen. Love and appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the little fun we had here on a very special episode of the Bullpen. I think we had some good laughs, and hopefully these guys aren't too hurt. They said they wouldn't get hurt. Remember that. Remember that. They said they would not get offended. So just reminding you guys. All right, I'm going to get this thing fixed. This motherfucker better show up right now. I'm tired of it. It's been a great day for grappling, you guys. We'll see you back on the mats.